Hello, West Coast RC. For any of you that are interested or looking into bobbing the bed on your TRX4 Sport, you've come to the right place. So you probably already know that based off of the thumbnail for this video that you clicked on. But this is really going to provide you an in-depth look or how to bob this bed. We took, as you can see, about an inch off the bed here, not overly aggressive compared to some other videos that might take somewhere upwards of 1.5 or 2 inches off the frame rails. But this one we only did an inch for a very strategic reason, and once we pop the body on this thing, you will find out why. So let's go ahead and do that. Now with the body off, you can see that this particular Traxxas TRX4 Sport has the narrow inner fender liners installed. And we did that for a couple strategic reasons. First and foremost, we wanted the ability to mount a shorty style lipo right under the hood, which is where you want the majority of your weight in these crawlers. Another reason that we bought these, actually pretty reasonably priced upgrade, was you can mount your rear springs with a little bit more forward bias with these compared to the more traditional straight up and down TRX4 Sport shock towers that it comes with. So more forward facing springs. And also these fender liners help keep some of the dirt and debris out of your rig, helps kind of keep the electronics a little bit cleaner as well. So that's why we went ahead and installed those. Now you can see the reason why we only took off an inch off the frame rails, because with that exact inch that you take off, and if you want to run that rear bumper still, we inverted ours, of course, it's a little bit higher up, it clears these inner fender liners really nicely. Almost looks like it was made from the factory that way, stock. And the great thing about that is that your body will slip right in there, and it helps kind of keep everything nice and contained and clean, and you don't actually have to cut these fender liners whatsoever. So let's go ahead and get into how we did that. So with the bumper off, it was pretty easy, just 2 screws on each side. We can start to really look at this frame and see where we're going to cut these frame rails. I put a mark in there already, and you can see I'm going to take about an inch off this frame. To eyeball it, just to show you for this video, the bumper sat about right here, and you can see again just how far back that sits. I'm going to snug this up all the way about right there. And so it's substantially shorter for that approach angle, departure angle, clearance. And we're also going to be able to keep and maintain these inner fender liners without having to cut them at all, at least for now. So with our frame rails cut, this is what you're going to be left with. And you can see that we just trimmed off a little bit. It is just about an inch, maybe just a little bit less. And you want to save these because you'll use these as your guide to re-drill the frame where those 2 bolt holes are, or those 2 screw holes. You're gonna really want to take your time on this one. I didn't do such a great job, so I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see this, but I had to use kind of like a bigger style washer to kind of close the hole. The drill that I used was a little bit too big, it was a little bit off, it walked a little bit, so don't worry, as long as you're able to get that screw in there. I'm only running 1 on each side, and you have a washer that's big enough, it's probably like a 1/4 inch washer, you will be able to cover up that hole and snug it up nicely. So moving on to the body now of how we cut it, where we cut it, how we plastic welded it so that it was secure. We're going to go ahead and take this back off, flip it upside down, show you guys where we cut, how we measured it, and what plastic weld we used that actually looked pretty good on this rig. It's kind of like a tan plastic weld. So I was originally going to run some stickers to cover this up, but you can see that it actually blends pretty nicely into this tan TRX4 Sport body. Body is cut. Make sure that you deburr all the edges. I used that 1-inch painter's tape. Make sure it's tight on all the seams and all the areas where you're going to be injecting the plastic weld. And then I also used a little bit of rubbing alcohol underneath to make sure that all the fingerprints and oil and grease and dirt and everything is cleared from that space where we're going to be using the plastic weld. So here you can see where we welded the body, or the two pieces together, and there's just a little bit of plastic weld. Nothing too crazy. You don't want to use too much of this stuff. It's actually really strong. Just the little bit you see here, there is no flex whatsoever in that bend. And I've actually taken this out and wheeled it a few times, no issues whatsoever. So in this situation, at least with what we used, less is more, keep it nice and clean. This is what we used, JB Weld plastic bonder, and it's tan. So like I said, if you're running this tan body, this actually blends in quite nicely. Flipping this back over, I'm gonna get a little bit more of a deeper dive into exactly where we cut this. So you can see that the line where our original cut is, sorry guys, I'm filming this with my one hand here. It is about, what is that? Just under half an inch back from this bed liner sticker here. And we did that for one very strategic reason. This part of the bed right here is much narrower than this part of the bed. So if you started all the way back here, you're gonna have, actually there's a better view of it right here. You see how narrow this is right here? If you cut it back here, you're not gonna be able to marry it nicely to this wider piece. So if you come up by just a little bit right there and you cut, these can actually marry pretty well together. So that's where our original cut was. And how much we took out of the bed was exactly this much. This is the skinniest painter's tape that I could find at Home Depot. It is about an inch. It's just shy of that. It's basically an inch. And that is how much we took out of the bed right there. So make your first cut right here, get this back part off, and then put this much in there and cut on this line. So you take about an inch out of the bed, and then that is where we married them together. And this is what you'll have left. This is exactly how much we took out of the bed. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this with one hand, but I can guarantee you guys this is about an inch. That is pretty much it on our TRX4 Sport bobbing the bed how-to video. Say that 5 times fast. I hope that this helps you guys. I looked and looked, couldn't really find anything out there on the internet or on YouTube that really showed how to do this. Obviously we're dragging bumpers constantly in these things, so it was something that I wanted to do. So hopefully this helps you guys. If you have any additional questions, looking for more exact measurements while I'm not holding a camera and trying to do 3 things at once, feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll be sure to keep an eye on those and reply to as many of them as we can. Thank you for watching.